Sophomore, Hannah Fitzgerald. Sophomore, Haley Fitzgerald. Junior, Angelina Stampa. Senior, Lola Sepulveda. Junior, Gracie Christensen. Junior, Gabby Dinishway. Sophomore, Maria Chronopoulos. Sophomore, Zoe Axel. Senior, Ava Kelly. Freshman, Megan Skinner. Senior, Mia Demiano. Senior, Maddie Richmond. Junior, Autumn Everett. Fifth year, Sarah Ortiz. Freshman, Kirsten Lewis. Senior, Abby Royer. Freshman, Gianna Shibby. Head coach of the Southern Gymnastics program is Corrinne Tarver, assisted by Alana Kretzer and Devara Todd. And now from Denton, Texas, under the direction of head coach Lisa Bowerman and assistant coaches Zan Jones and Caitlin Thomas, please welcome the pioneers of Texas Women's University. Sophomore, Bailey Upton. Senior, Ruby Gove. Freshman, Autumn Wiggins. Freshman, Juliana Baker. Senior, Brooke Ferrari. Sophomore, Kylie Ganabari. Junior, Kylie Menard. Sophomore, Amane Glenn. Freshman, Gabby Ruseva. Sophomore, Elena Reed. Junior, Bailey Bourgeois. Junior, Maddie Murphy. Sophomore, Jordan Luke. Junior, Sophie Hernandez. Junior, Sophia Stephan. Senior, Cami Zarlingo. Sophomore, Ellie Inhouse. Junior, Caroline Downs. Freshman, Addie Doan. Junior, Sophia Isbell. Texas Women's University is coached by Lisa Bowerman, assisted by Zan Jones and Caitlin Thomas. And now from right here in Westchester, Pennsylvania, under the direction of head coach Barb Cordova and assistant coach Stephanie Stevens, please welcome the Golden Rams of Westchester University. Sophomore, Riley Harada. Junior, Hannah Shelton. Junior, Leanna Schultz. Senior, Anna Lacey. Sophomore, Hannah Elkins. Sophomore, Emma Grace Kelly. Sophomore, Tatum McGuinn. Junior, Corrinne Gruber. Freshman, Ava Griffin. Freshman, Gianna Smith. Freshman, Grace McNamara.
That's
Senior,
easy.
Sarah Eskew.
Pass it off.
Senior, Melina Ringus. Freshman, Caitlin Tatum. Junior, Catherine Leiden. Freshman, Alli Solchek. Freshman, Bailey Green. Freshman, Jaslyn McCumsky. Senior, McCarthy Keene. Freshman, Sophie Salvatore. Freshman, Maddie McCullough. Sophomore, Catherine Keener. Junior, Lydia Stoner. Senior, Kara Vargo. Freshman, Zion Williams. Head coach of Westchester University is Barb Cordova, assisted by Stephanie Stevens. And qualifying individual competitors for today's preliminary competition.
I was 18.
From Nashville, Tennessee, under the direction of head coach Maria Mack and assistant coach
We love an
Ryan.
odd number.
Please welcome the
They're all
Bulldogs of
filled
Fisk
in. That was so many
University.
years ago, the color faded. Yep.
A senior, Aliyah Reed-Hammon.
Yep.
Senior, Liberty Mora. Senior, Zyia Coleman. Senior, Alli Berkley. Junior, Ciniah Rosby. Freshman, Hadassah Diggs. This university is coached by Maria Mack, assisted by Nia Mack. And for today's competition, we have judges from Louisiana, Texas, New Jersey, New Hampshire, Virginia, Pennsylvania, Connecticut, Ohio, New York, Missouri, Illinois, and Massachusetts. Please rise if you are able, and gentlemen, remove your hats. As we play Lift Every Voice, followed by the national anthem.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won.
Thank you.
All right. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Hollinger Fieldhouse in Westchester, Pennsylvania for the Women's Collegiate Gymnastics National Invitational, brought to you by our presenting sponsor, USA Gymnastics, for the second session of the semifinal competition. Competing in this session will be Texas Women's University, Southern Connecticut State University, and Westchester University, where the top two teams will qualify for team finals tomorrow. we'll also see 6 individual competitors from Fisk University. My name is Tiara DiTomaso. I'm so excited to be here with you all alongside Tavia Smith.
Hi guys, it's Tavia. Excited for a fun day of flips and tricks and to see these teams compete to qualify to tomorrow's competition.
Gymnastics and and our additional sponsors, Crown Trophy and the Brandywine Valley Visitor Bureau. Thank you for your support in making the championship possible. Thank you to International Gymnastics Camp for their generous donation. Enter to win a $500 off IGC gift certificate, which can be applied to any week of camp at IGC for summer 2026. We will be coming through the stands with raffle tickets for purchase during the 4-minute touch periods.
Okay, introducing tonight's teams. First, we will have TW, as we can see, starting on floor. They are led by Lisa Bowerman. TW is having a stellar 2026 campaign so far, coming in with the top qualifying score for this session and the meet. Expect to see some high-flying gymnastics, stuck landings, and pristine handstands throughout the meet from TW as they fight to earn the right to defend their 2025 national championship. The Pioneers were missing some key players last weekend and fell just short to SEMO, who's already qualified to tomorrow's competition at their conference championships. So TW will be looking to get the momentum on their side with the first outing of nationals.
And starting on vault today is going to be SCSU. They're going to be led by Corrinne Tarver, who's in her first season as head coach at Southern, and she's assisted by Diabra Todd and Alana Kratzer. This coaching staff has really worked hard on fostering an environment where these gymnasts can feel comfortable and confident. With so many changes recently in the coaching staff at Southern, they just really wanted to emphasize that this year. It would truly be historic for them to be able to qualify for team finals, and with key competitors like Abby Royer, who's qualified to compete in NCAA regionals next weekend on floor, Lola Sepulveda, and Gabriela Donoso, they definitely have a strong chance of doing so. And then starting on the uneven bars, we'll have the Golden Rams. They're led by Barbara Cordova and assisted by Stephanie Stevens. Cordova recently tied the record for most wins by a WCU women's gymnastics coach, so that is a record that she now shares with her own former head coach. 2 years ago, when Westchester last hosted nationals, was the first time in school history where they qualified to team finals, an accomplishment they were able to do once more last year. So they've been building up all season with the intent of hitting their peak this weekend so they can qualify and do the same this upcoming year.
And then, as we talked about earlier, we will have individual qualifiers competing from Fisk University. They'll be alternating kind of which events they're doing. So on beam first, we'll have Alli Berkley, Aliyah Reed-Hammon, and Ciniah Rosby. This will be the Bulldogs' last season competing. So I'm really excited to see what the Bulldogs pull out today. Trying to qualify for individual all-around as well as event finals to be competed later this weekend.
It is definitely so sad to see their program leaving NCAA Gymnastics. Obviously, they were the first HBCU school to have a gymnastics team, so their presence in the sport the past few years has been historic on its own. Now we are getting right into competition. Starting immediately on the uneven bars is first year Maddie McCullough for Westchester. Opened up with a huge combination there. And a stick for a strong start for the Rams on bars.
And on floor first, we'll have Cami Zarlingo. One of my favorite things about TW on floor is how expressive they are, and you can really tell that they practice selling each and every routine. You can tell they practice the dance as if it were the tumbling, so it's always a fun time.
Coming into this competition today, we are all expecting Texas women's to take that first spot to qualify into team finals. They are the reigning WCGNIC champions. They won last year by over a point. And then the other spot is up in the air, so it will come down to who comes out on top, Westchester or Southern.
It's like definitely that fight for that second qualifying spot should be a tough one depending on who hits all 4 events today. Last weekend, they were pretty close competitively at GECs at conference, so I'm interested to see who comes out on top.
They definitely are very similar across the board. Southern Connecticut has hit slightly higher scores this season. They do have an NQS, which is about 0.2 higher than Westchester's, so it will be a close meet today. On beam right now, one of the individual competitors from Fisk, Alli Berkley. She did a beautiful flight series and then just a slight bobble there on that front toss, but nothing too major.
And came away with that stuck dismount to finish that beam routine strong. Good job from her. There's nothing quite like hitting a beam dismount at nationals. No better feeling.
On bars right now for Westchester is Leanna Schultz. She came back this season after the past 2 years having ACL injuries. Double layout, a bit of a shuffle there on the landing. Would have hoped to see more of a controlled landing, but for her, getting that chest up on the landing is a good dismount.
And next up on floor for TW, we got Bailey Bourgeois. A smooth connection pass there. Straight into her leap series. We love amplitude. Finishing with a double back. That'll get her an extra 1/10 of bonus and just shows off some difficulty there. then next up for beam for Fisk will be Aliyah Reed-Hammon. I believe she qualified to the beam final in previous years, so I'm excited to see what she does today. She has a pretty unique series here, acro series, so we'll see how she does.
You can do it, Aliyah. Come on.
Smooth connection on that back handspring to side aerial. That's a really challenging series to keep moving and not break the connection, and she did a good job.
It's especially difficult when you realize she has to step out of her back handspring on her opposite leg so she can swing through her dominant leg for that side aerial.
Yeah, definitely impressive. I'm not that ambidextrous. And another stuck dismount for Fisk. Should be another strong score.
Hannah Fitzgerald for Southern just competed on vault. She nailed it with a stuck landing. Absolutely no hesitation. That is one of a few stuck landings that we've seen on vault already from Southern. So they are coming out of the gate fighting for that second spot already.
I'm like, they're slowly chipping away at it up there in that top left-hand corner. Keep an eye out. Next on floor is Sophia Steffen for T-Dub. Starting off with a very difficult front double full. One of the few tumbling passes we'll probably see today. Super challenging. A little bit of a struggle on that landing there, but once again, a really hard connection pass to go from that front tuck through to the Rudy, but managed to keep it in bounds.
Lola Sepulveda on vault did a Yurchenko layout full, so a higher start value that we're going to see today, that 995. We'll also see possibly 10-0 start value from T-Dub later on. But that 995 is a very strong start value for a lot of these teams here in this competition. And she just had a slight bit of a low landing, chest forward, just a small step forward.
And then in the bottom left-hand corner is Fisk's final competitor for the balance beam, Ciniah Rosby. So far hit a pretty strong series, demonstrating a good 180 split on all her leaps, so we will see how she finishes up.
Beautiful.
3 for 3 with the hits. I'm impressed.
After a long wait on bars for the judges, we're finally moving on to the third competitor for Westchester, another first-year student, Grace McNamara. She's going to start out with a big combination here. Blind full, ganger, straight into a shoot over.
The height on that ganger was insane.
Yes, and those legs absolutely glued together. Something you don't always see in those turning skills. Finished out with a full-in dismount, just a step on the landing, but overall, beautiful routine, especially after waiting so long for those judges. That was our final competitor on vault, Haley Fitzgerald, just closing out Southern with a Yurchenko layout.
Coming next up on the floor, we'll have Autumn Mickens, the freshman in her first nationals. A little bit bouncy out of that first pass, the Rudy, but great height and legs glued together there.
I would like to also note the incredible depth that T-Dub has on this floor rotation. Just taking a look at the rest of their lineup, they do have 2 gymnasts that have qualified for NCAA regionals on this event and will compete next weekend. It doesn't look like they're competing for floor tonight, but being able to replace them with other gymnasts on the team that they know that can put up high scores, also super impressive.
Definitely. I was like, having athletes who can step in and get 9.75s, 9.85s is really impressive for any roster, really. Nice chest up on that last pass, that double pike. A fun routine for the freshmen.
Senior Melina Ringus on bars for Westchester. We're going to see a similar release here, another Ganger. Not quite as glued together on the legs there as we just saw from Grace, but still getting a lot of height on that release. Double layout, dismount, stuck landing.
That was a beautiful dismount. She had me wanting to say, go Rams.
While we're waiting here for our next competitors, let's think back to the first preliminary session this afternoon. We saw, again, 3 teams vying for the first 2 spots to qualify to team finals tomorrow. So competing was Southeast Missouri State University, University of Bridgeport, and then William and Mary. So advancing to team finals will be SEMO and Bridgeport. And then today's competition is also determining our all-around champion. So we currently have 3 people from the first session that competed in the all-around. Abigail Kenny, Amara Nelson, and Taylor Engel. So currently in first place with the score to beat is Taylor Engel with a 39.275.
On floor, we have Kylie Menard. This is one of the athletes that stepped up last weekend and competed in place of a couple of those athletes that qualified to regionals on floor. Her first time out, 9.85. Insane.
Westchester first year Gianna Smith just took a fall on her dismount. So she did a blind change into a double front, didn't quite rotate enough, so sat it down, which means Westchester has one more gymnast who absolutely needs to hit so that they can drop that fall and start off this meet night. Meet right, wow. Waiting for our last competitors here in this rotation. On floor for T-Dub, it's going to be Sophia Isbell. And then on bars for Westchester, Sarah Eskew. So much height on that opening double back. She basically went out of the frame.
That's how you know you got hops. Just jump right off the screen. I was like, and the best thing about Isabel is this routine looks just like this literally every single time. Always dynamic, always great landings, good leaps. You know what you're gonna get, which is why she's anchor, I'm sure.
And Sarah Eskew on bars just needs to nail this dismount so Westchester can drop that fall in the 5th spot. Double layout, and it's a hit routine. Overall, that was a pretty solid start for all of our teams. A couple hiccups here and there. Westchester did have that fall, but they were able to drop it. Texas women's just absolutely dominating on floor. Southern with a lot of different sticks in that vault rotation. And then the Fisk individual qualifiers on beam just absolutely getting up and nailing their routines. Now we are going to be going behind the chalk with the Fisk head coach, Ciniah Mack.
One particular moment this season has kind of been throughout this whole season is our floor teams are very intentional. They did their best for each one to tell or have a story about them. One of my favorites to see and perform because she really sells it, she really tells a story, is our senior Zyia Coleman. Her floor routine is inspired by the Grammy Award-winning movie Sinners. She said it's one of her favorite movies. I remember her bringing it to me and her teammates coming up with this idea because not only are they intentional in trying to make living art in every step, every move, they love to pull each other in. They love to lean on each other because everybody is very creative on my team. So Zyia got together with her teammates Liberty and an assist from Jordan Camardi as well to put this piece together. Every move, every moment, every breath is to symbolize a piece or a part of the movie Sinners. So I look forward to seeing her perform that today. I hope that y'all feel the intentionality behind it because they really took their time. Zyia does an excellent job of conveying the message and the beauty behind the movie. I'll be honest, there is no one moment this season that truly stands out to me as a season as a whole was just a moment of time that we won't be able to get back. These girls were tenacious, they were persistent, they were determined, they faced adversity, they've overcome so much, whether that was mental hurdles and facing the fact of the discontinuation of the program and how do we overcome our emotions and still show up and compete, to being down people and having to piece together routines and pull tricks out of our bag of tricks of gymnastics, and their willingness to show up for their team regardless. So there's no one moment. There were highlight reels, like us finally getting over, in the words of one of our singers, being released from the shackles of the 188s. We had goals of getting back to the 190s. But like I said, this team is resilient. They're determined. They're motivated. So the 190 for us wasn't just a score, but it was us putting it together, us being on the same page, us pulling in and sticking beside each other, and what one person didn't have, the other be, whether that be motivating one, or, all right, you can't do a bench routine this week, you need a rest, okay, I got you. So it was a lot of that. So there's no one particular moment this season that I can sit here and say it was that moment, because it really was this entire season of seeing these girls put their all into it. 10 years from now, I hope they remember the impact. I tell them all the time, 10 years ago, I was a freshman at Kent State University, and it was the fastest 4 years of my life, and I would go do it all again. I hope that they've had the same experience and know that not only do they have the joy of being collegiate gymnasts, but that they realize the impact that they had as being the first HBCU gymnastics team, and all of the barriers that they broke, all the doors that they kicked open, the glass ceilings that they shattered, the conversations that they started. So I tell them often, you might not know it today, you might not feel it today, it might feel small, insignificant, or that it was just a blip in time. But when you sit down 10 years from now and you're talking to your teammates, or you call up one of us coaches, or you're just remembering your time as an athlete, that you know that you played a hand in changing the trajectory of gymnastics and what it looks like, and the conversations that you started, the bonds that you've built. As at Fisk, we're very big about being involved on campus as well. Not too many people can say they went to college and competed collegiate athletics, became an All-American, and they also got to pledge. As we have girls that are Alpha Kappa Alpha, Sorority Incorporated, a part of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, and Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated. Like, they were able to be and have the best of both worlds and be coached by men and women that look like them, sound like them, that understood them in their entirety. So I just hope they know that they were very fortunate and very blessed, and that it was nothing short of an opportunity for me, and I know all of us involved, to have had a hand in their blip in time, their journey, and hopefully in 10 years from now that they really realize what they've done and the impact that they've left, not only on the gymnastics, but the heart of all the coaches that had a hand, and the people that volunteered, the alumni, the institutions.
So great to hear from the Fisk head coach. She truly was right. That team has had so much impact on NCAA gymnastics, and just being such an inspiration for so many younger girls and gymnasts in the sport, or looking to get into gymnastics. But following that first rotation, Texas women's in the lead with a 49.075. Westchester in second with a 48.3, and Southern in third with a 48.125. So like we said, today's meet, going for that second final spot, is going to be super close between Southern and Westchester. We're already seeing that they are very close in scores, and it's really just going to come down to which team can be more consistent today.
And Lola Sepulveda. Competing for Westchester on the balance beam.
All of our teams are moving in Olympic order. So T-Dub heads to the vault, Southern heads to bars, and Westchester heads to balance beam. And our individual Fisk qualifiers head to the floor exercise.
Aliyah, Reed-Hammon, Zyia, Coleman, and Ciniah, Rosby.
What would you say you're most excited to see in this second rotation?
So I, for one, am really excited to see T-Dub on vault. We did talk about how strong they are on floor, but they're also a very strong team on vault, especially of these 3 teams. They are going to have a gymnast, Sophia Isbell, who's going to do a Yurchenko 1.5. So that's going to be great to see a 10-0 start value, but they're also going to put up a bunch of 9.95 starts, which is very strong for this event. And then on the uneven bars, looking at Southern, we definitely have Gabrielle Donoso, who's a very strong competitor on this event. She has a beautiful dismount. She does a toe-on front pike half, and so she's definitely going to put up a great routine. And then Westchester on balance beam, they do have the capabilities of putting up a really strong score. It's going to be a matter of, is this beam team going to hit today?
I was like, heard you there on the beam team. I was like, it's always interesting to see how teams can like carry the momentum from one event to the next. And beam is always one where you kind of have to calm the nerves a little bit after just starting the meet on a high. So we'll see how Westchester puts it all together today.
And then I am also just excited to see Fisk on floor and see their choreography and their routines. I just know that they are going to have a blast over there.
Yes, and Coach Ciniah was talking about Zyia Coleman's floor routine, her center's floor routine. I have seen it in person, and it is, in fact, amazing. So I'm excited to see her compete that this weekend. One last round for Fisk. TW starting up in that top left-hand corner with a really laid out Yurchenko full from Elena Reed, chest nice and high. Just a little smidgen of a hop.
But I was super impressed how high her chest was on that landing. She completely got that all the way around. There is no doubt about it.
Definitely, it all comes from the pre-flight, getting that good block off the table so she can get that amplitude.
And starting for beam for Westchester, this is senior McCarthy Keene. Again, hoping to just start off this beam rotation right, put Westchester in the right place for the rest of this rotation. Triple series, back handspring layout. A bit of a wobble on the landing, but she did fight for it, stayed on the beam. That is what is important.
And at the same time, a stuck dismount from Zoe over there on bars for Southern. They're really gonna go back and forth tonight.
They're gonna keep us on the edge of our seats until the end of the meet.
That's really the best thing about gymnastics, let's be honest. And for TWU, that was our first 10-0 vault from Jordan Luke. A full twisting Yurchenko with a pike off.
And Westchester started off with a hit routine. Now on floor is Liberty Mora. Second combination pass there, that was a front layout into a front full. And just such beautiful artistry in this choreography, such fluid movements.
A strong set for Liberty, beautiful leaps throughout, and really performed it to the fullest. A little bit of a heel tap on that pip on the low bar from Grace for Southern, but we'll see how much the judges take for that. Sometimes they see it more than others. But finish with a strong dismount.
Maddie McCullough on beam for Westchester. And I'm trying to think back. I honestly don't remember seeing her in the beam lineup very often this season. She is replacing Anna Lacey, a senior who got injured, unfortunately, at conference championships. But that was a very strong routine from the first-year student.
Absolutely stunning. Rising to the occasion. We love it.
Yeah, super impressive to hop in there at nationals and put up a great routine.
Another one of those 995 Yurchenko fulls from Juliana Baker, the freshman at her first nationals.
In particular, like we said, Texas Women's does have the advantage putting up all 9.95 or 10.0 start value vaults, something that Westchester and Southern both lack in that rotation. So obviously just starting from a higher maximum score potential. And we're seeing our third competitors right now, both on bars and beam. And ironically, they were both Giannas.
I was looking at that. I was like, Gianna and Gianna, both S as well.
Yeah, Gianna S. You can see her on beam and bars.
And then on floor for the second time tonight, we have Aliyah Reed-Hammon.
Gianna Smith on beam. Unfortunately, another fall from her tonight. She did stick her dismount, so ended on a positive note, but once again, Westchester is going to feel that pressure on the last part of the lineup to try to hit and drop the score.
Like, luckily, college gymnastics is a 6-up, 5-count kind of setup. So they do have the opportunity to drop a score, but that does put a little bit of extra pressure on the final three athletes.
T-Dub has one final competitor on vault. It's going to be Sophia Isbell doing that Yurchenko 1.5 starting from a 10.0. She also qualified for regionals to compete on this event, so she will compete next weekend in Tempe, Arizona.
A little bit off on the block today, so didn't get quite the height that she usually does. Just a step back with a little bit of under rotation, but still a very dynamic ball.
Ideally, we do want to see them take a step in the right direction. So if they're flipping backwards, we want to see a step back. And if they're flipping forwards, we want to see a step forwards.
On cue for Fisk is Zyia Coleman. Opening with a huge full in. I think she upgraded that for this meet. That's awesome. An E-pass.
Yeah, I was going to say that was extremely impressive to see.
And looked like we had another fall from Emma Grace Kelly over there on beam. So Westchester will be having to count a fall on that event. So hopefully she can finish up strong and fight for every last 10.
Definitely opening up the door for Southern to take that lead.
Zyia finishing that routine with a front through to double tuck. Pulled that chest up there at the end.
That was an absolutely stacked floor routine.
So much difficulty, so much performance. You love to see it.
We are still seeing that movement towards 2-pass floor routines. As a viewer, my heart aches and yearns for 3-pass floor routines, but as a previous gymnast myself, I understand why we're doing 2 passes.
I was like, my body understands, but as a viewer, yes. I'm like, I want a little more.
I do appreciate when the 2-pass routines are as difficult as that one was, though.
Definitely. I'm like opening with an E-pass, finishing still with a front through to double back. Super hard, so respect.
Bar's taking an extremely long time to judge.
I was like, are we still waiting? Yes. And sometimes, it takes a while to make sure that we're doing the right things and getting the right score. So as long as they don't have to talk about it again later.
Yeah, I wonder what they were debating about Gianna's routine.
Yeah, I was like, I don't really remember seeing anything too crazy because usually it's like them having a start value conversation. So I'm like, I don't know if someone missed like a connection or if it's like a handstand dispute or something like that. But
yeah, I don't remember any major problems. Up now on beam is Lydia Stoner, looking to get the Rams back on track following 2 falls in a row. She opened up with a really strong acro combination front toss directly into a back handspring.
finally getting back up on bars here with Gabriella Dinoso. And down at the bottom, we have Ciniah Rosby with her Chris Brown floor routine.
Lydia Stoner moving along through this beam routine, going for the dismount, gainer full, stuck landing, and the Rams are back. Gabriella on bars also absolutely stuck her landing as well. These sticks are contagious. These girls work so hard to figure out how to stick all of these landings, and they're really just in that rhythm now in postseason. Very difficult floor combination, 1.5 punch front full twist. So a lot of twisting there. I definitely would have gotten lost myself.
My ankles would never survive that, but proud of her. I was like, I feel like that's a pass that's become a lot more popular since the, I wouldn't say invention of the 2-pass routine, but the higher prevalence of 2 passes. Just I wouldn't say an easier way to get more bonus, but an effective way to get more bonus for athletes who are good twisters.
Oh, definitely. And it's so funny to see because you do have athletes that prefer twisting over athletes that prefer flipping, like double backs and double pikes and full ins and stuff like that. So it's interesting to see how these different gymnasts make up the requirements that they need for their routines.
Yeah, definitely that's one of my favorite things about college is seeing the versatility of different athletes, and every routine is really so different, especially in comparison to club when it feels like sometimes it gets a little bit monotonous, whereas college, at least to me, feels a little bit more fun.
Yeah, I think it's interesting when you're in club, it's like your own teams kind of have their own recipe and they kind of try to have each gymnast do similar things that they're comfortable with. And then you get to college and you get that Mod Podge of all the different teams and what they taught their gymnasts, and that's how you get these unique rosters.
Yeah, it's definitely fun. I was like, for sure, I was one in club. I could never do beam because it's like you have to do back hamstring, back layout, step out. And then I was like, I can't do that, so I guess I'm not good at beam. But then you get to college and it's like, actually, I can be a beam queen.
I can do anything I want. Tatum McGuinn on beam, repeating her front aerial because she missed the combination the first time. Was able to get it that time.
It's like definitely important for her to go ahead and repeat that front acro skill because without that, it will impact her start value. So good on her for going through and repeating that.
Like we said, these gymnasts do have an allotted list of requirements that they need to fulfill, so an acro series being one of them, a skill that goes forwards or sideways, and then a skill that goes backwards. And finished off, round off 1.5. She just seemed ready to get off that beam with a hit.
And she did it.
And we just have one final competitor for this rotation. It's going to be Lola Sepulveda for Southern on the uneven bars. Now, Southern already has 5 hit routines under their belt, so Lola coming in here trying to top their lowest score so that they can just maximize their scoring potential in this rotation. So contrary to earlier on in the season, you might notice that there are 4 judges on the judges panel for each rotation this time. So the 4 judges are going to give their scores. They're going to drop the high, drop the low, and average the 2 scores in the middle, and that's how they get the final score for the gymnast.
Which with 4 judges also means 4 different opinions and judges conferences. So waiting a little bit longer for Lola to get mounted here, but the good thing is, like we said before, 5 hits before her, so she really can just get up there and let it swing.
Today's competition also determines who's going to qualify for event finals on Sunday. So not only are we looking for who's qualifying to team finals tomorrow, but we're looking at the individual gymnasts who are placing in the top 5 on each rotation, and they will advance to event finals. So from the last rotation, we had quite a number of gymnasts do just that, because if there is a tie in the 5th place spot, they will take everyone tied for 5th place. And there was a rotation where quite a number of girls all got the same score in 5th place. So a lot of people heading to event finals already, but we're still looking to take girls from this session as well. So a lot on the line tonight in preliminaries. Looks like the judges are finishing up their conversation. We're gonna go back, re-show their scores, and then hopefully Lola is gonna be able to get started on her routine. Always hard to compete after waiting this long, but Lola getting started now. Big Tkachev. Too much power going into that handstand. Went over. But finished off the routine with a nice dismount. Definitely showing off her own stamina on that rotation.
No kidding. I was like, I really love that routine. The amount of like aggression, and like you could tell she's a bar swinger. She definitely was aggressive with all of her skills, and even when she made that mistake, still kept the energy high.
USAG gearing up to host the 2026 Xfinity US Gymnastics Championship this August 6th through 9th in Phoenix, where top stars are going to battle for national titles and national team spots. Single day tickets are on sale now, so head to xfinitychampionships.com or usagym.org to grab your seats. And thank you to all of our sponsors, starting off with our presenting sponsor, USA Gymnastics. They are the national governing body for gymnastics, so thank you to them. But also we'd like to thank Synergy Gymnastics, a local training center serving the greater Philadelphia region from right here in Pennsylvania. Synergy offers recreational classes and USA Gymnastics competitive levels 2 through 10 and Excel, helping build the next generation of college gymnasts. So if you have a young gymnast who's enjoying this meet, look up Synergy Gymnastics online to learn more about classes and team opportunities. Moving on to Hygo Apparel. They provide performance wear and custom designs for athletes and teams. Their focus on comfortable, functional gear helps gymnasts train and compete with confidence on every event. To see their latest lines and team options, check out Hygo Apparel's online shop and social channels. We would like to thank International Gymnastics Camp, a premier summer training destination for gymnasts across the country. IGC combines world-class coaching with a classic camp experience, giving athletes a chance to sharpen their skills and also have fun. Parents and gymnasts can visit International Gymnastics Camp online to learn more about 2026 sessions and how to register for this summer. Tonight's championship is also supported by DGS, Deary's Gymnastics Supply, your full-service source for gymnastics equipment and supplies. From training aids to competition setups, DGS helps programs outfit their gyms safely and efficiently. Gym owners and coaches can visit gymsupply.com to explore bars, beams, mats, and everything needed all season long. We would also like to recognize Chester County's Brandywine Valley, the local visitors bureau promoting everything this region has to offer around Westchester and the greater Brandywine Valley. From historic downtown Westchester to nearby museums, gardens, and outdoor spaces, it's a great destination for fans at the meet. To plan your next trip back to the area, head to the official Brandywine Valley Tourism website and discover places to stay, eat, and explore. And last but not least, Crown Trophy helps make this feel like a true championship with the awards waiting for our athletes at the end of the weekend. As a national leader in trophies, medals, and custom recognition pieces, Crown Trophy helps teams celebrate their biggest moments. If your program or organization is looking to upgrade your awards, visit Crown Trophy online to design something special for your next meet.
Going into this third rotation, we still have TWU in first with a 97.9. And then in second place, we have Southern with a 96.3. And Westchester in third currently with a 95.8. So Westchester trying to come back from counting that fall on beam and keep the energy high moving on to floor.
Yeah, if you're looking at the numbers exactly, had Westchester not had that fall, they would have been 5/10 higher and would have been exactly tied with Southern. So like we said, these two teams so very similar, so close in this rotation, it really would just come down to who's gonna hit.
It's like the bright side for Westchester right now is it's already done bars and beams, and Southern still has to do beams. So we'll see what shakes out in rotation 3.
All right, we are continuing to rotate in Olympic order. So this rotation, we're gonna see our individual competitors from Fisk are gonna be on vault. On the uneven bars, it's going to be Texas Women's. On balance beam, Southern. And then on floor, Westchester. This rotation, we are moving away from our power events for Texas Women's, which we obviously know that they dominate in. However, they are a strong competitor on all 4 rotations. So we're still looking for them to kind of do extremely well here on bars.
Like this is an event that TWU struggled a little bit on last week at conference, but usually not really a problem event for the Pioneers. So looking to bounce back a little bit from how things went last week.
In the 3rd rotation, competing on the vaults for individual qualifiers from Fisk University, Hadassah Diggs, Aliyah Reed-Hammon, Alli Berkley, and Ciniah Rosby. Competing for Texas Women's on the uneven bars, Bailey Bourgeois, Katie Zolendo, Jordan Luke, Alina Reed, Carolyn Bounds, and Brooke Ferrari. Competing for Southern Connecticut on the balance beam, Libby Allen, Hannah Fitzgerald, Angelina Stanton, Maria Damiano, Maria Chronopolis, and Gabrielle Denisway. And competing for Westchester on the floor exercise, Lydia Stoner, Kara Bargo, Gianna Smith, Allison
It's really going to be interesting to see who is going to take home the individual all-around title tonight. The past, I believe, 2 years, it was won by Morgan Price, who was on Fisk's team. However, she transferred and she's competing now at Arkansas. So it's kind of up in the air tonight to see who is going to take home that title. Again, currently in first place with the score to beat is SEMO's Taylor Engel. She has a 39.275. So any gymnast competing in the all-around in this rotation, trying to top that, or at the very least, top Abigail Kenny, who is currently in 3rd with a 38.775 to try to get into that top 3 spot. All right, looks like we are getting ready to start the competition on this rotation. Lydia Stoner starting off for the Rams on floor. Libby Allen for Southern on beam. Bailey Bourgeois on bars for Texas Women's. And Hadassah Diggs on vault for Fisk. Strong start for T-Dub on bars from Bailey. Hadassah on vault, unfortunately taking a fall. She did a Yurchenko tuck full. Looked like she just didn't quite get the block that she needed on the table, so she didn't get it fully around. Hopefully she's walking away with her ankles feeling okay and not stung, because that can be extremely painful.
A strong first hit for Libby Allen and Southern on beam.
And Lydia Stoner on floor with a hit routine. Her second tumbling pass was a 1.5 punch front layout. I would have liked to see that second flip rise a little bit higher. That is what the judges are looking for in those combination passes. They're looking for the second flip to be higher than the first. And that one did drop a little bit, but she was able to keep it on her feet, which is the important part.
Up next for TWU, Cami Zarlingo on bars. Opening with a very difficult piked Jaeger. Keeping those feet nice and glued on the overshoot.
Really cranking those giants there.
And stuck that double layout. Yeah, get hype.
That was a beautiful dismount. There was no hesitation that she was going to take a step on that landing. Nothing.
You know it's serious when you stick the dismount straight up and down. Like, oh, you didn't even have to really work for that one. It was there. The preparation was there.
On floor right now for Westchester is senior Kara Vargo. She started out her routine with a double pike. Another 1.5 punch front layout. Second flip, same level as the first. Again, we want that second flip to rise. Southern, unfortunately, with a fall there on balance beam from Hannah Fitzgerald on her flight series. Looks like she slid down the side, possibly getting a beam bite, which, speaking from experience, those hurt.
Yeah, not on the list of recommendations. Very painful.
Hopefully it's just the beam bite. And
yeah, I was like, hopefully
else.
she can get back up and finish. Yeah. Jordan Luke from TWU with another drilled dismount, this time a full twisting double back.
Thankfully, Hannah is getting back up on the beam. Hopefully she's able to put that fall behind her and really nail the rest of this routine. Because like we saw with Westchester, you never know what's going to happen to other people in the lineup behind you. You don't know if your score is going to need to count, so you have to make the rest of the routine as best as you can. And a gainer full twist dismount to a stuck landing. So really did not let that fall phase her at all. That dismount is extremely difficult. I did just a regular gainer pike, and I can't even fathom adding a full twist to that.
I tried gainer pikes one day into the pit and landed on my head. So you're doing better than me.
On floor now, we're seeing Gianna Smith started out with a front double twist. So that's another E-tumbling pass. Hopefully she can get a hit routine under her belt. She unfortunately has fallen on uneven bars and beam. So coming back here and putting up a strong routine on floor, I'm sure would put her in a much better mood.
And then top left, we have Aliyah, Reed-Hammon again for Fisk. With a stuck Yurchenko layout full. Good for her. Coach is loving it.
She's excited too. But Texas women's with their first mishap today. Elena Reed took a fall on her Jaeger.
Definitely an uncharacteristic fall from her, but hopefully she can get back up there and finish the rest of the routine. Another fall on beam for Southern, so opens the door back up for Westchester. You never know, guys. It's getting serious.
We said it was gonna be close, and if you could see our faces, we are reacting the same way. Elena did finish off her routine extremely well on the uneven bars. Don't want to take that away from her. She did get a stuck dismount, so came back from that fall and absolutely nailed it anyways. But once again, the door is open between Westchester and Southern. Now, I do believe that Angelina on balance beam only did a back handspring. I think she was supposed to do a triple series. So if that's the case, then I don't think she gets credit for a flight series, because I believe one of the skills needs to be of a C level. And a back handspring on beam is just a B.
To my recollection, I think that is correct as well. One of the skills has to be like an acro skill. So her start value will be a little bit lower, and my assumption is that her score is probably going to be one that's dropped, barring any other challenges.
But the good news, Hannah Fitzgerald, she did have that fall, but she was still able to get a 9.1. So without that fall, she would have been up there at a 9.6. So she put up a really strong routine other than that fall. And that's important because the person after her fall happens again, so her score is probably going to count.
On bars, we have Caroline Bounds for TWU. TWU is just cranking out those stuck dismounts tonight. Absolutely unstoppable.
They do train all year to get those sticks at this point in time, so it's really rewarding to see their hard work pay off. I'm not sure if we're intentionally spacing out these vaulters, but our next vaulter is going to be Alli Berkley. She's going to do another Yurchenko layout full. Brooke Ferrari rounding out the rotation for T-Dub on bars. She followed Caroline Bounds, who got a whopping 9.9.
From what I've seen, that's the first 9.9 or above the entire competition from now and the first session, so kudos to Caroline.
And Alli with a beautiful Yurchenko full on vault. And then Maria Damiano on balance beam, getting the Owls back on track with a hit routine. Now on floor, Kat Keener about to do her front handspring, front double twist. Just a slight hop on the landing, but again, really difficult tumbling pass. We are getting a 3-pass floor routine.
I was like, you ask and you shall receive.
Closed out with a Rudy, aka a front 1.5 twist. Westchester really coming back in this floor rotation following that rough beam rotation.
And looking at the score for Maria there on beam for Southern, looks like there was a little bit of a mishap. So they will be counting another 9.075. So still, door is swinging wide open for Westchester right now. For the last 2 athletes for Southern will definitely want to stay on the beam and hit as well as they can.
I did think Damiano had a hit routine. I guess I must have missed something earlier on in the routine, unfortunately. But if we're looking at the scores for Texas women on bars, they wrapped up the rotation with 2 back-to-back 9.9s. So a score that we had yet to see in the competition, and then we saw 2 gymnasts back-to-back get it on the uneven bars.
Like, yeah, TW definitely has a very strong 1-2 punch at the end of that lineup. They've been carrying the barn lineup the whole year and really proved themselves tonight.
In the anchor spot for Westchester is Corrinne Gruber. We see a lot of Rudies in this Westchester floor lineup.
It's like really an effective way to get those extra D-value skills that you need as a requirement for floor. And then she adds that split jump in to get even more bonus toward that 10-0 start value.
Yeah, that split jump out, it does give that extra 10th of bonus, and then it's also a lot easier to stick a split jump than it is to stick a twisting skill like a Rudy, so it does help them get that controlled landing as well.
Like minimize landing deductions as much as possible, respecting the game.
Yeah, well, those landing deductions do add up. If you have every single gymnast take a deduction on every single landing, that is going to be a lot of points that you're giving away. And math that I am not going to be doing right now.
Not at all. Just know it makes a big difference.
Yes. We can attest to that.
Like, especially when the difference between winning and losing is literally like you wiggle your big toe, basically. So it all adds up.
I mean, that's something we also saw in a lot of conference championships this past weekend. If you were watching gymnastics, there were a ton of instances where it was like the last gymnast up on the event needed like a 9.975 or like a 9.9 or a 10.0 to beat the other team. And we did see it happen.
Literally, yeah. I was on the edge of my seat. I think it was SECs. It was insane, and it really came down to the very last girl, and she did awesome. It just wasn't quite enough.
Last competitor here on the balance beam, Gabriella Diniso. She got second team all GEC on this event, so there is a reason that is anchoring for beam. And we definitely want to see her doing her usual routine today, following those 3 routines in the middle of the lineup. As a front aerial to a scale, bit of a wobble, so I'm not sure if the judges are gonna give it to her, but her foot never touched the beam, so I don't know. I would give it to her and just deduct a little bit. But wrapped it out, round off tuck 1.5 to a step landing. And with that, we round out our third rotation. So again, we saw some back and forth between Westchester and the Owls. Now it seems that the Owls have sort of opened the door for Westchester to be able to take the second spot in this meet, but there's still one rotation left. Anything can happen. But soon we're going to hear from the Westchester head coach for her behind the chalk talk.
I think the thing that people want to know just from watching is that we have 10 first-year students on our team, and many of them are competing in the lineup. And on top of that, not just our first-year students, other students that have never competed in the lineup before, we have 8 brand new spots in our lineup. And I think that's a lot. I think that my team has handled that really, really well and has really worked hard, really grow and learn throughout the season. So I'm really proud of that. I would have to say a moment that stands out to me is the Unite for Her Pink Invitational meet. It's a meet that we've done several times, but they haven't had it in a few seasons, so we were really excited to be back at the college session of the Unite for Her meet. About half of our team came down with Flu B that week, and as a result, about 4 of our starters did not compete in that meet. However, I was really proud of our team. We didn't know how it was going to go. We didn't know if we were going to be able to fill our lineups, but we did. Many of the people that were healthy were able to step into those lineups, and we had one of our best meets of the season, and it was really impactful. So that was a moment that really stands out to me. This championship is very, very important to me. It is very dear to my heart, and it has had a huge impact on me personally, but also our whole team. My very first year coaching 18 years ago, I had 1 athlete qualify to this championship. Then the next year I had 2. And then we had more and more individual athletes qualify. And then in 2017, our whole team qualified. We've also had 2 national champions from this competition, and then several All-Americans. And this championship makes it possible for athletes that are not at the top schools to have an opportunity to compete in postseason and to earn these types of awards. So this championship is super, super important and has been really just a great experience for my team, for myself personally, and just for the schools that participate. So thank you so much.
Again, just as a reminder, USA Gymnastics will be hosting the 2026 Xfinity US Gymnastics Championships. That's going to happen from August 6th through August 9th in Phoenix, Arizona. You're going to be able to see a bunch of the top gymnasts. As you can see on the screen, we have Hesley Rivera and Asher Hong. And so we're going to see them vying for some national titles and some national team spots. It's going to be a great meet. So go to xfinitychampionships.com or usagym.org to buy some single day tickets and grab your seats while you can. And again, just shouting out our sponsors. Thank you so much for all of your support in this event. Synergy Gymnastics being a local training center that's right here in the Philadelphia region in Pennsylvania. Hygo Apparel providing amazing performance wear and custom designs for all of our athletes and teams. IGC being an incredible premier summer training destination for gymnasts from across the country. I've been there before. It was so much fun. I highly recommend. DGS always supplying our gymnastics equipment and supplies at so many gyms across the country. Chester County Brandywine Valley, the local visitors bureau that helps promote everything that Westchester has to offer. Personally, I went to Westchester. I love the area. I would highly recommend going and staying there and enjoying a weekend or something. There's so much to do, so much to see. Brandywine Valley can help you get to all that you need in the Westchester area. And then Crown Trophy, they help make all of the awards for this weekend. It's great for these gymnasts to be able to walk away with some hardware and something that they can remember for the rest of their lives.
The 4-minute touch begins now. After 3 rotations, in 3rd place, Southern Connecticut with a 143.475. In 2nd place, Westchester with a score of 144.200. And in 1st place, Texas Women's with a score of 147.250.
All right, we are gearing up for our last rotation of the night. Looking at our scores, Texas Women's in the lead with a big lead ahead of everyone else with a 147.25. Westchester in the 2nd spot, 144.2. Southern in the 3rd spot with a 143.475. Again, we've been mentioning it all night that these two teams were going to be super close in this competition. Both with slight mishaps on the balance beam opened the door for each other. We kind of went back and forth. Now we're in that last rotation looking to see who's going to come on top. But we have a really strong rotation ahead of us. On bars, we're going to see Ciniah Rosby from Fisk as the only individual competitor on that event. However, you may have noticed she did compete in the all-around tonight, so she is vying for that all-around title. And again, we're looking for someone to try to top Taylor Engel from the last rotation, or the last session. She has that 39.275, or to just come into that top 3 spot. You want to pass Abigail Kenny from Bridgeport with a 38.775. So Ciniah looking to try to get into that range somewhere to walk away with some type of all-around title tonight.
And Sophia Isbell. And competing on the floor exercise for Southern Connecticut, Zoe Axel, Kirsten Lewis, Ava Kelly, Libby Allen, Lola Sepulveda, and Abby Roy.
Texas women's just looking to finish out this night strong. They've had a really strong day so far, so obviously just looking to get out there, have some fun on this last rotation. Westchester and Southern are probably feeling the pressure in this rotation. Westchester has upgraded their vaults since prior seasons, so they do have a few higher start value vaults than they did in the past, which will help them in this situation, trying to maximize their scores. And then Southern on floor with a ton of really strong competitors, especially their anchor, Abby Royer. Abby was the GEC floor champion just last weekend. She's also received the honor of first team all GEC, and she's the first SCSU gymnast to qualify for NCAA regionals since 1997. So she's going to be able to compete in this event next weekend at the Lexington Regionals. So a really strong addition to their floor exercise, capable of putting up a strong score, might be exactly what Southern needs to be able to pass Westchester.
The 4-minute touch is now over.
And with 4-minute touch ending, we are going to start competing here very shortly. Again, we want to directly look our attention to bars right off the bat because we're only going to have one competitor over there. We don't want to miss it. That's going to be Ciniah for Fisk. On vault there for Westchester, Kira Varga, Yurchenko tuckful. Didn't quite get it fully around, so took a step forward. But so far, on balance beam, Elena Reed looking strong. And then, of course, on bars there, like I said, Ciniah Rosby getting ready to compete.
And Elena held on to that stick with her tippity tips of her toes, fighting for every tenth.
Saluting to the judges, Ciniah on bars up there in the top right corner. Maloney shoot over toe hand combination. 3 skills in a row right off the bat. And a great stick for her on the bars.
Way to finish up the competition for Fisk and for herself tonight. Another strong Yurchenko tuck full for Allison there in Westchester on vault. Just a little step back, but good pop off the table, and was able to get her chest up on that landing.
Balance beam just proving to be a difficult event tonight. Sophia Stefan for Texas Women's. She did a punch front tuck mount. Unfortunately, wasn't able to stay on the beam. Did take a fall. She did come back from that fall, was able to hit the rest of the routine pretty strong. Again, that's exactly what we're looking for when an athlete does have a mishap in their routine somewhere.
Our first front handspring front tuck of the night there on vault for Gianna Smith. Just a little pace forward. But once again, a powerful vault. Goal is to land all of them on our feet. Next up on beam will be Ruby Gold for TWU, looking to get the momentum back on track following that fall from Steffen.
And getting ready to compete here on floor for Southern is going to be Ava Kelly.
It's like a lot of excitement for a stuck vault from Jaslyn McCombs there on vault for Westchester.
Now that front handspring, front pike, and she just absolutely nailed the landing.
Again, that's a challenging vault because it is a blind landing, meaning you cannot see the floor at all. So you absolutely have to know where you're at, and kind of all comes down to all the training in the practice gym over and over.
And something else to note about Westchester, a lot of people might be thinking they do have, you know, an advantage. This is their home turf. However, this is not the formal arena that Westchester competes in. Normally they compete over in the Sturzbecker Health Science Center. This is only their second time competing in this arena in recent years, the last time being the last time that they hosted nationals 2 years ago. So although the equipment is theirs and they're used to feeling it, this is a different environment than what they're used to.
Unsure what's happening over there on floor. It looks like Ava took a little bit of a short landing and is taking a pause, so hopefully she is okay.
And then Westchester's anchor on vault there. Sarah Eskew, senior, she did a full-on tuck-off vault. So not quite a 10-0 start value because it does need to be in a pike position to get that 10-0 start, but still an upgraded start value from some other vaults that we saw earlier in the lineup.
Next up on beam, we'll have Kylie Menard for TW.
Oh, very interesting.
I was like, definitely don't see that too often. Very cool. Way to choose to do your leap series. Unique and hard. Connection straight into that side semi. Another skill that's not seen super often. Usually people will just stick with the side aerial, and she adds that extra quarter turn. A little flare.
I also do love those little beat jumps into the skills. I think a lot of people tend to do like a side aerial, bring your feet together, do a beat jump from there. And I think that doing the beat jump as like a little step out into another skill is just a little bit of a unique thing to do. I think it looks really nice. Something I definitely prefer over a poorly performed cat leap.
Yeah, I'm definitely a cat leap snob too. I'm like, I can't.
They never get their legs up high enough. They're never turned out enough. I don't want to see it if it's not right.
It's so true.
Call me picky, but
you know, technically the rules. You didn't make them
I side
up.
with the judges. I side with the judges on that one. Let me specify.
On that one. Yes.
Caroline bounds on balance beam for T-Dub. Slight bobble there on her series, but absolutely nothing major. But a difficult leap combination, switch leap into a switch half. They might not look that hard, but again, it's those leaps and jumps and turns that can be the hardest on you.
And turns. Literally, and turns. The
And
things that look
turns.
easy are hard, yes.
Really emphasize the and turns. And she just stood up from a seat on one leg to like a side scale. That was crazy.
I was like, the leg
Caroline
strength is
bounds,
astronomical.
drop the leg routine. If there were comments on Virtius, I'd say drop them below in the comments. Take to TikTok, take to Instagram, something. Drop the T-Dub lift routine. The people need it. The people being me. It's tough being a retired athlete and trying to figure out how to exercise.
Oh, you're preaching to the choir over here. My word.
It's definitely something that a lot of athletes go through.
Definitely. Somehow I avoided the gymnast to half marathon pipeline and the gymnast to CrossFitter pipeline, but I'm working on it.
Me too. I just don't like running enough.
Like at all. But I was like, I have friends, they love it. I'm like, I love that for you. I'm waiting for the runner's high to reach me, and it never has. The lungs, they don't.
Yeah, you'd think I'm not moving fast enough for it to never reach me, but I think my walking pace is just fast enough for it to not reach me.
A little bit of a misstep from Isabel in the anchor spot there, going for that difficult back handspring layout series. Just a little bit mistimed in that first back handspring and layout.
But honestly, if there was any time this weekend for T-Dub to have these mistakes, it was gonna be tonight. I think we comfortably knew they were gonna qualify into team finals ahead of Westchester and Southern. But tomorrow in the team finals, when they are going up against Southeast Missouri, Bridgeport, and then Westchester or Southern, whoever comes out on top, it's going to be a much closer meet, especially because last weekend we did see SEMO come ahead of Texas Women's at their conference championships.
It's definitely always better to get the kinks out today and then iron them out for tomorrow.
This Southern coach is killing it. Her outfit, amazing, impeccable. I need her to back up so I can see the full fit just a little bit better. But shout out to her. She ate with that one.
Truly. Very demure.
Throw out all of our Gen Z slang.
Literally.
She ate. It's demure. What else can we say? I've been really into Slay recently. I know that's old, but she slayed.
Period. Me all day long, period.
We'll teach everyone while there's this lull in the competition. These words are good things. If you hear them, you are hip.
You were hip. Or maybe you were hip 5 years ago. I'm not sure which.
But we're just going to be here waiting out for Southern on floor because we just have 2 competitors left, both of which on the floor exercise. The other teams are done competing, so. This is Lola Sepulveda. She's been a strong competitor on this event since she was a freshman. Another front double twist to start. Again, an E tumbling pass, and a really difficult one, especially if you're not particularly keen to twisting.
Ending with a very difficult front through to 2.5 twists. Impressive to not get lost in the air doing all that twisting.
Yeah, you can definitely tell that she prefers twisting over flipping. And then now we'll just be here waiting for the final competitor of the night, Abby Royer. It should be a treat for us. Again, she's competing next weekend once more on this event at NCAA Regionals. And tonight trying to vie to qualify into event finals for this event. Oh, it's a jumpsuit. Even better. I thought it was a dress.
It just keeps getting better.
I hope she watches this back and knows that we are her biggest fans.
Truly. A round of applause all around from us. Like, in general, I've always been impressed by how college coaches can run around in heels on all these squishy surfaces anyways. So.
Oh, yeah. Especially when it's like a thin heel and not a thick heel, or like a wedge.
Literally. I'm like, your ankles are steel. I love that for you.
Yeah, and it's so funny because then like regular people that were not gymnasts will step on the mats and some of them will just fall because they're not expecting it to be that squishy. And then they're just running around in heels.
From corner to corner like it's casual. Beautiful lines and amplitude from Abby on that first connection pass.
She did what we wanted, that second flip rising slightly higher than the first, exactly what the judges are looking for. Round off back layout, step out. So if I had to guess, I would say that this next pass is going to be going forwards. It's going to be her last pass. Just like beam, these gymnasts are required to have an acro skill that goes forward and something that goes backwards, so that round off layout, step out, even though it seems very simple, it does fulfill that requirement. There it was, front handspring, Rudy into a split jump. which we talked about earlier, helping you get that landing, giving you an extra tenth of bonus, something that's important, especially when you're only doing 2 passes. But that rounds out our last competitor of the night.
Gymnastics, established in 2020 and located in Malvern, PA, offers recreational classes and USAG competitive levels 2 through 10 and excel. We strive to instill strong foundational skills to help our gymnasts grow and progress in their gymnastics and life skills. Synergy is proud to be sponsoring this year's National Collegiate Gymnastics Invitational, hosted by Westchester University. From our team to yours, we wish the gymnasts and their teams the best of luck this weekend.
So once more, we would like to thank our sponsors. So USA Gymnastics, the presenting sponsor of this year's WCGNIC. Another thank you to Synergy Gymnastics. We just saw a brief clip about their gym and their philosophies when training their gymnasts. Amazing to see. Higo Apparel always makes such beautiful custom leotards for athletes and teams. IGC, we also saw a clip of their gym there. Very fun. They are a premier summer training destination for gymnasts from across the country. Oftentimes, they get to be coached by famous gymnasts and also collegiate gymnasts. DGS, Deary's Gymnastics Supply, always servicing gymnastics equipment and supplies, helping with training aids and competition setups. Such a great resource for gyms. Chester County, Brandywine Valley, helping local visitors, promoting everything that Westchester and the greater Brandywine Valley has to offer. So many museums, gardens, outdoor spaces, great places to just go and relax and explore. And then Crown Trophy, a national leader in trophies, medals, custom recognition pieces, always helping teams just celebrate their biggest moments. All right, and now we are looking into our leaderboard. So again, the top 5 are going to qualify for event finals on Sunday. So taking first place in this session, Elena Reed from Texas Women's. And then we have a large number of ties for second place, all of which will qualify for event finals. Alli Subcheck from Westchester, Jaslyn McComsky from Westchester, Sarah Eskew from Westchester, Alli Berkley from Fisk, Bailey Bourgeois from Texas Women's, Maddie Murphy from Texas Women's, and then Sophia Isbell from Texas Women's. On the uneven bars, tied in first with that whopping 9.9, Caroline Bounds and Brooke Ferrari, both from Texas Women's. And then in third place, Jordan Luke. In fourth place, Tammy Zarlengo. And in fifth place, Bailey Bourgeois. So all of the qualifiers from this session on bars are from Texas Women's. On the balance beam, taking first once again, Elena Reed from Texas Women's with a 9.85. Tied for second, three ways, we have Lydia Stoner, Aliyah Reed-Hammon, and Ciniah Rosby from Fisk, and then also from Westchester for Lydia Stoner. And then in fifth place, Gabriella Deniso from Southern Connecticut State University. And on the floor exercise, qualifying for this event, in first place from Texas Women's, Sophia Isbell with a 9.875. In second place from Southern, Abby Royer. And then tied for third place from Texas Women's, Bailey Bourgeois and Kylie Menard. And then in fifth place from Texas Women's, Autumn McKins. We're just waiting to solidify our all-around scores because, again, the competition today was going to determine who's going to take home the individual all-around title. All right, and while we're waiting for those individual all-around scores to be finalized, we do have our final team scores. So in first place, Texas Women's with a 195.25. Second place, Westchester with a 192.725. And in third place, Southern Connecticut State with a 191.875. So again, we all knew coming in tonight that we would see Texas Women's qualifying into that finals tomorrow evening at 7 p.m. Eastern. It was a toss-up between Westchester and Southern on who was going to take it, who was going to be more consistent. And although both teams had some mishaps on the balance beam, it seemed that Westchester was able to take it. They are still pretty close in scores, but unfortunately, Southern will have to wait one more year to vie into those team finals. Westchester qualifying for their third time into team finals in team history for the third consecutive year in a row. So hopefully they're able to be more competitive in team finals than they were last year. I know that is going to be their goal. So that leaves us with our definite team finals competitors tomorrow. So it's going to be SEMO and Bridgeport from the earlier preliminary session, and then Texas women's and Westchester from this session. That competition is going to be at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So same time as this session. So catch us here again tomorrow for that. And then once more, we're just waiting here on our final individual scores. We want to be able to see our combined all-arounders from the previous session and from this session so that we can know for sure who our all-around champion is. And here we have our combined all-around scores. So it looks like nobody from the second session was able to surpass the people from this afternoon. So taking first place from SEMO, Taylor Engel with a 39.275. In second place from Greenville, Amara Nelson with a 38.975. And then in third place from Bridgeport, Abigail Kenny with a 38.775. Ciniah Rosby from Fisk just short of that third place spot from just 1/10. So we talked about it during the meet. These small things, they matter so much. They are the difference between one place and another, even if it is just one measly 10th. But that leaves us off with our meet for today. Thank you so much for tuning in to the first day of competition for WCGNIC. We look forward to having you all back tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Again, we're going to see SEMO, Bridgeport, Texas Women's, and Westchester all vying for the national title. And then once more, there will be a competition on Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time for event finals. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed it as much as myself and Tavia, and we'll see you tomorrow.